What is up, Team Happy and Fit? Happy Tuesdays. Tuesdays, I was going to say it's the Condias and then it say Tuesday, but I said Tuesday. Anyway, it's so good to have you here. A couple of things. One, I want to share this with you. I've been listening to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk, and something that I know is sometimes you can get into a funk or feel like you're not having fun, like there becomes burden. Have you ever felt that way? I have felt that way. I don't usually think that it's the actual business that we're in that makes us feel that way. I think it's something in life that makes us feel that way. And or we've twisted up our vision to focus on things that aren't fun, but more of a burden. And so when I was listening to him, first of all, once you get past all of the vulgar language, in fact, I actually kind of like it. It keeps me on my toes when I listen to him. He really massively cares about people. He really does. Any of his presentations, if someone's like, can I get a picture with you? He's like, yep. And then if someone's pitching a deal, if they're asking, he'll do a Q&A. And that's a lot of his teaching and mentoring is Q&A. And I think it's so fascinating. He's just really great to listen to get better in leadership. So I don't always listen to calls just for content. I like to listen to see how mentors lead, like Ed Milet. I love listening to how he asks questions. But something that Gary said is that you have to have fun. So someone was asking him a question of, hey, I have 5 ideas. Should I do the 5 ideas or should I do one like everybody else? And Gary Vee goes, what sounds the most fun to you? And the person was like, the 5 ideas. I learned something in that moment because I think I would have said, stick to the one. Stick to the one idea. He said that the person who gives the advice is what they would do. So I would choose that one idea, but it doesn't mean that that's right for that other person. So my question for you is, what is the most fun for you in this business? And I'm about to unleash something that this is the first time I'm admitting to a whole group of people. I've talked to Eric about it and I've talked to a few people about it. Elite for me right now is not fun. I've hit it 3 times. I think it's a massive, wonderful goal to go for. By me saying this, I don't think that you should ever make an idea of a goal based on what I do. But I need to tell you something. Because I've hit it 3 times, I have to tell you where I'm having the most fun. And that's the question I've been asking myself after listening to that. Julianne, where do you have the most fun? Because it's conflicting, right? Where I have the most fun right now in this business is leading with Eric, for sure, and also digging into the downline. Where I'm having the most fun is seeing you have success. Where I'm having the most fun is helping you create and maximize more income. Now, if a leader of yours chooses to still go for a different goal than that, it doesn't mean that they don't care about that. I just want to tell you where my focus is that I'm having so much fun where I'm like, it'd be pretty rad to have 5 elite coaches on Happy&Fit. And if I'm not one of them, that is okay with me. That's okay with me. So I just wanted to give you that. Like, where are you having the most fun? And then go do that. For me, having the most fun is also talking about this business. It's working with people who love this business and not just fitness and nutrition. Because this is my other question. How are we more than workouts and nutrition? So whatever you have fun with, I love that you have fun with your workouts, but business related, where do you have the most fun? I have the most fun when people join our team. And it doesn't have to just be me personally bringing a new coach on. I honestly feel it when Nicole, Lacey, Danielle, Caitlin, Brittany, Emily Ann, whoever brings a coach into this organization, I feel like I brought them into the organization. That is how excited I feel for someone joining our team, right? So how are we more than fitness and nutrition? And I want you to speak about it. I want you to talk about it. And I want you to have fun while doing that. So for me, I love talking about this business. I love talking about this team. And that is what I do every single day. I also, in our road trip, we heard Ed Milet say this. We heard him say team business. There are people who run a business by themselves, and then there are people who do a team business. What we do is a team business, and to me, that sounds like more fun than doing a business by myself. I know incredible people who have incredible businesses, but they do it all themselves. And I just think, I don't want that. I don't want to do that. My favorite part of this whole business is the team. So I'm so thankful I don't have to do it by myself. So talk about that. We're part of a team business. It's not a me business. It's not just me by myself. Is there anything you wanted to add to that? You were leaning in.
Oh no, I was reading that today, and I still really haven't finished Built to Last, but that was another takeaway that I was reading today, was that it's definitely the language that you use. It can't be just your business. It has to be our business. It's together. We're a team. Um, like I feel like I'm getting to know majority of you more personally, and that's like more exciting to me. And that's something I haven't done in the past, and it just I get more excited when, especially like doing like some of like the Success Club board.
That's really him. I'm not logged into his account. That's really him.
Or the volume board. And just seeing a lot of people, leaning into each other, but also helping other people out. So that's just my takeaway.
Yep. Team business. We're part of a team business, and that is what makes us so incredible. Lastly, I heard this on a call. By the way, I listen to Gary Vaynerchuk. I subscribe to his YouTube. The cool thing about that is you get updates. I think you can go to my YouTube and see who I follow. So you can see like all of the YouTube accounts that I follow. I listen, something Eric noticed, like being home with me, is that I listen to YouTube all day long, but I don't just listen, I implement. He says like you'll write down ideas and get massively obsessed with them, but I have to hear a lot of things and study a lot of things. So Gary V is on YouTube, yes, and then Ed Milet I either listen to on podcast or on YouTube as well. I really like to see body language. That's why I love it when you guys have your screens on, because I'll go back and rewatch these and see how I can get better with presenting. And then lastly, I heard this on a call, is the biggest addiction we have is wanting the approval of other people. More than the addiction of drugs, more than an addiction of substance abuse and things like that, what has happened now, it's switched to the addiction of approval of others. And so I just challenge you to think about that. Do you feel like you have that addiction? And then how is this journey helping you through that? And talk about that on your social media, because I bet there's a lot of people who feel that way on your social media, and that's why they're not joining. They're so worried about the judgment of others. And so how can you keep talking about that? One, through your own personal experience of how you work through it, right? So that was just something that I thought was really interesting, is that the biggest addiction people have now is wanting the approval of others. Last, before I give it to Lauren, there are 120 days left of 2019. So awesome. If you've gotten off track with your workouts, if you feel like you're not hitting your business metrics, you can feel super sad about it or frustrated by it. But what I think you should do is just do a workout and or make a post of something that makes you excited about this business, and then create a dream team list. Like, just take the action to get to where you want to go instead of getting frustrated by it. For me, I was frustrated with, I don't know, this is so dumb, but it's like, I just had a baby almost 6 weeks ago, and I looked at a post of like how I used to look, and I'm like was hard on myself, where it's like, Joanne, you've only been postpartum for 5 weeks to 6 weeks, like chill the F out. So instead of letting that manifest in my head, what did I do? I just did my workout. Like, instead of just like, what is, where I know I can be, right? I was just like, just do your workout. And guess what? I feel so much better because doing that workout got me closer to the goals that I have for myself. Okay, I did so much talking. I'm going to stop now. I'm going to give it to Lauren. Lauren is amazing. Lauren is going to introduce our guest speaker tonight. Please take notes. I heard before we get started, I'm a creep and listen to a call. I listen to calls all the time, you guys, especially other teams and things like that. I just want to get good. I want to get better, right? And all of a sudden, I heard, well, Lauren told me that Chelsea presented, and she's like, you got to listen to this. I was like, I absolutely will. And I did, right, Lauren? I like messaged and I was like, oh my gosh, Chelsea, you've got to speak for Happy and Fit. It was so good. It was so good. So Lauren has been with me, I feel like, on this journey forever. And so it's been really fun to see her team grow, her organization grow, and see people joining alongside her and her coaches and their coaches. And so it's really fun for me to have Lauren introduce our guest speaker.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Julianne. So first of all, I just want to say Chelsea is not my personally sponsored coach, but her upline, Lacey Pagel, Zook, is on tonight. You see her waving in the back cooking dinner. Okay, I just want to start off by saying this. Chelsea has several working active diamonds in her upline. And when we asked for people to step up and share something on a call, Chelsea was one of the, like, it was like instant. Like, she was like, yes, I have something I'd like to share. And I just have to say, like, that is a credit to the people in her upline, because they show up, they actively lead, and they're always present and willing to, and always using their voice to help others learn. So if you're sitting there thinking like, oh, I would love for one of my coaches to be able to present on a call. Well, are you actively showing up to Zooms? Are you actively using your leadership, using your voice to be able to help others grow and yourself grow? Because it starts there, and your team is never going to do things that you yourself aren't doing. And I have to say, 5 years into the business, it is so cool to see Chelsea present on this call, and she's like 5 levels away from me. So that is like a bomb feeling right there. So Chelsea presented for one of our leadership calls last month, and her confidence was just absolutely amazing. And that was one of the reasons why Eric and Julianne wanted her to present tonight. And first of all, Chelsea is from Iowa. Like I said, her upline coach is Lacey Zook, who's on tonight. And Chelsea is on her way to being a diamond coach. She is super close. She works in sales through a sales agronomist, and I'm sure she'll tell you more about that here coming up. But the best part about Chelsea is that she went to Iowa State University, which is the best college in Iowa. So Chelsea, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. The floor is yours, my friend.
Guys, I'm blushing. You can't tell because the light's really bad, but I am blushing. So thank you for the great introduction, all the compliments. It feels so good. I have to say, I was like super like Rachel from Friends jumping up and down, Rachel and Phoebe, like, so excited when I was asked to do this. So disclaimer, when I get excited to tell a story, I get really loud and talk really fast. So if that happens and you guys are like, I don't even know what she's saying, please tell me, because I'm excited about this and I want you guys to be too. So to get started, I kind of broke this into, what did I do? 5 different sections. I have my notes on the screen next to me, and I'm just going to run through like what I do full-time and my story with Beachbody, and then some things that I use from my full-time training in sales that I've kind of implemented into Beachbody, and then the symbiotic relationship that they've created with each other, and kind of what Beachbody has done for my full-time job and how that's pushing me to diamonds. So here we go. Like Lauren mentioned, I'm a sales agronomist for a co-op in Northeast Iowa. So basically, my full title is Agronomy Account Relationship Manager. This just means I'm a salesman, but everybody hates that word. When you hear the word salesman, people are like, where's that cleaner person showing up to my front door? Where's the encyclopedia salesman showing up at my front door? That's what they hear. So that's my full-time, or my full title, but I'm really just a salesman. So what I do every day is I make calls to farmers, and I sell them crop inputs, everything they need to grow a crop. I sell it to them, I help them grow it, and then I work with people to help the farmer market that grain. So I started out very green, they call it. Very green, very insecure, very new. And nothing really took off with my sales job until Beachbody. And I'll talk about that more in a little bit, but to get back on track, get back on the train, Chelsea. What I do is heavily saturated. So with that, like, meaning we farm, my fiance and I farm, and there are anywhere from 12 to 15 different salespeople selling the same exact thing, showing up to our doorstep every 6 weeks, if not more often. And that's just crop inputs. That's not insurance. That's not equipment. That's not people wanting us to do financing with them. So I have to find a way to make myself stand out. And I do that with Beachbody as well. Most of the people that I compete against also live right down the road, right? So I hate to put it this way, but there are 400 some odd thousand coaches in Beachbody. How many of those coaches are messaging the same people that you are, and they all sound the same, right? We have to set ourselves apart from the other 400,000 coaches because you want to work with them and you think they'd be a good person to work with, right? So I guess my story is when I started Beachbody, I was extremely insecure. I was to the point where I literally would ask my friends driving down the road, hey, do you think that girl's bigger than me? Like, talk about comparison. And that's poor of me to put my friend in that position, right? So when I started this, I was on this running kick, and I said to myself, I can run 2 miles every day for the rest of my life. I can do that. That's doable. I think that's healthy. And then I started counting calories and becoming obsessed and more obsessed. And nothing really changed mentally. I was still just as insecure as when I started. I was still just as mentally unstable as when I started and lacked so much confidence. In my full-time career, I have to get out of the truck. I don't just have to pull into the yard. I have to get out of the truck. And if I don't have that security and that confidence, then I'm not going to make any sales, right? And then all of a sudden, I don't have a job. So I needed that mental change. I needed the physical and the mental change to get into a place where I could soar, not just with Beachbody, but with my full-time career and in life. So I started with Team Beachbody in January of 2018, about a year after I had been running. And then I signed up as a coach in March of 2018. And I'll never forget Lauren and I chatting. I didn't become an active coach until about July of 2018. And she said, there's the day that you sign up as a coach, and there's the day that you start coaching. So I take my day that I started coaching was July 2018. And now that I've been doing this for a little over a year, I've never been more secure. I've never been more confident and more courageous. You know, when Tyler asked me, my fiance, when he asked me to help him out loading pigs, the old me would have been like, I can't do that, and I would have had a panic attack. But I'm confident that I know how to take the steps. I know how to be calm with it and learn that it's going to be okay because I'm going to survive. So those are just a few things that this journey has done for me. I have to say, the fact that I'm no longer afraid of failure, afraid to fail because it's the first attempt in learning, that resonates with me every single day. I'm no longer afraid of hearing no. What is the worst they're going to say? What is the worst thing they're going to say when you ask for the sale? No, right? And quoting the Team Rockstar Fit Journey of a Rockstar, no means not right now. So that's just a quick, really scraping off the top insight into what I do. So we got that I'm sales full-time to farmers. Basically, my attitude every day depends on the markets because that's who I have to go see every day, basically. And yeah, this entire journey has just changed me completely, especially mentally, and calmed me down, I should say. You think I was wound up? I'm wound up now. You should have seen me before. So moving on into our next section, I wanted to give you guys some things that I use every day that I've learned from professional sales training. So every 6 months or so, all of us salesmen for our co-op have to sit in the same room for 72 hours together and sit through these trainings with these guys from Canada. And it's just, by hour number 71, you're like, oh, I want to go home. But so many good things are taken from it, and I use them in Beachbody. So here's just a few. I talked about this in our Team Living Fit Tribe call, and it was FAB. Not fabulous, not flab, FAB, and it's an acronym. I'm all about acronyms and analogies. FAB is features, advantages, and benefits. The feature, the advantage, and the benefit of your product, of your one product. Not Beachbody in general, not Beachbody on demand, your specific product. So to break it down even more, your feature is, what is that product? What is it? So Energize, for example, what is Energize? It's an all-natural pre-workout. That's it. The feature is very broad. The advantage is, what does it do? So for Energize, our feature is all-natural pre-workout. Our advantage, it gives you energy. And the benefit is what it does for you. So that benefit is where you get most specific. You cannot find the benefit of that product to that one single person, to that one single situation, without having the conversation, without asking them why, without asking the open-ended questions, without saying, what are you looking for in a workout program? What do you struggle with? What are your goals? Where do you want to see yourself? How can we help you? So one thing that I have to remind myself all the time, because again, I get excited about things. We all, when somebody responds to a message, and I'm completely guilty of this, when I send out a message and someone responds and they're like, yeah, I think I'm interested, I think I'd work out with you, I get so pumped and I want to send them a paragraph upon almost a book's length, to the point where Instagram is like cutting me off saying, go to the next message. That is textbook features vomit. Yes, it's features vomit, because you're so excited and you're like, I just want to spill everything to you because I want you to join me and I want you to work out with me and I think this is so great. But then all of a sudden that person on the other end is like, whoa, you did not, like, whoa. Okay, you have no idea what I'm looking for. You have no idea who I am, what I do, what I struggle with, and you just spilled out a paragraph that, frankly, I'm too lazy to read. So you cannot get to that benefit until you're asking those questions. And when you have your features vomit, it's overwhelming. An overwhelmed prospect is less likely to join the team. Overwhelmed and confused are the two words that I just cringe even hearing. So that's when it's just constantly asking the open-ended questions. Never let it get to a yes or no answer. Until you are ready to ask for the sale, to ask them to join the team, until you're ready to say, what do you think? It's constantly open questions. Who, what, where, why, when, how, all that fun stuff. And I had to take myself back, and I still look back at those messages from that Diamond Daily, sending 5 messages a day. Some of those people I hadn't contacted until they first reached out, and I did a features vomit, and I was embarrassed. I look back and I'm like, oh, no wonder. It takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of guts to go back and say, hey, I know you were interested. I'm sorry I spilled, yes, I'm sorry I spilled all my guts to you. Let's talk about what you're truly looking for. The next one, and kind of relaying into it, and it's not the nicest acronym. I actually learned this in college from a sales class I took. Keep it simple, stupid, KISS. I'm not a big fan of the word stupid. So I just KISS, K-I-S. Keep it simple. Because who in their right mind and what person in this entire world likes to get overwhelmed and confused? Nobody. We have to keep it simple to them to keep them intrigued and keep that person wanting more and wanting more interest and wanting to know more about our team and wanting to join us. So, keep it simple, stupid. I keep it simple. if I pull onto a farm and I start talking about how fungicide works and how it increases ATP production and how it works in the plant and how it moves through the xylem and it moves through all this, and I start talking about all of these things, and the farmer is like, I have a lot more to worry about than how this fungicide works, I am not keeping it simple. And it's the same thing when I start talking about, oh, you can join my team as a discount coach and you can save all kinds of money here. So if you buy this much every day and you spend this much every month and you get this 25% off discount, it pays for itself. Exactly. The brain just shuts off. Caitlin hit it right on the head. The brain just shuts off at that point because they're like, I'm no longer interested. You made this too complicated for me. So the next point I wanted to bring up, and which I will openly admit 100% is that I need to work on too, is overcoming objections. And I've listened to a lot of calls, a lot of recordings, and I think I've listened to the same recording over and over and over and over from our Journey for a Rockstar page. Overcoming objections is something that everybody can always work on. You will never be a master of overcoming objections. And the way that I've been working on it and getting through it is being annoying as shit. Being the annoying 4-year-old who's like, why? 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 Why do you feel that way? Why? And it's always, and the example I have on here is the money example. I don't think I can afford it right now. Or I just think it's too much money. Put them on the spot. I have legitimately asked, is money the only thing keeping you from doing this right now? Is money the only thing keeping you from feeling better mentally and physically from joining my team? And then they're like, whoa, she's got guts to ask that. And if they answer yes, then we have a solution to that. If they say no, then you get the opportunity to say, well, why? What else is keeping you from joining our team? Put that person on the spot. And the last thing that I wanted to bring up is just putting things in perspective. And not for the customer, but for you, right? So you've done harder things. You have done harder things than send out a message on Instagram, right? Think of it this way. We get to hide behind a phone screen. A friend of mine just started a career as a financial advisor with Edward Jones, and that girl has to literally knock on doors asking for money. I have to get out of the truck. I can pull into the yard all day long and I can drive around and circle around and do donuts in the front yard, but I have to get out of the truck. That girl has to knock on the door and say, hey, can you trust me to handle your money? So putting things in perspective and knowing that they're not going to fully trust you. They're not going to fully trust you until they're not going to fully trust the product until they can trust you. So when you build that relationship after asking questions, having a conversation with them, engaging with them, figuring out where they would benefit with the individual products, until that person trusts you, they're not going to trust that the product will work. And then all of a sudden we have someone who gets a challenge pack and 3 weeks in, they cancel their subscription and they send their Shakeology back and they say, oh, well, I just wasn't seeing results, right? There are so many of those people. So, keep moving. Leading into my next point, it's how I keep from being salesy. And I hope I'm kind of flowing okay. Because I have like 3 pages of notes and I don't want this to be an hour and a half phone call. So how I keep from being salesy and when it's literally my full-time job to be that salesman, to ask for the sale, is I think of like wearing a hat. Like Eric's wearing a ball cap right now. He's wearing his Team Beachbody coach hat. And when it's time to be a dad to Faye, he's got to take off that hat and put on a different one. We cannot wear 100 of those at the same time, because what value are we bringing to each role? So I have to almost like, I don't actually take a hat off and put a different one on, but I have to pretend that I'm not a salesman full time. I have to pretend that I didn't just go out and have an exhausting day trying to sell fertilizer to 4 different guys when the corn markets just went down. I have to remember that this Team Beachbody, this is an escape for pretty much all of us, right? Now, I shouldn't say escape, but this is kind of a relief. This is like our fun. This is our second family. And for me, it's an escape from the rest of the world. So I have to remember that. It's an escape from walking fields all day, from grumpy farmers, from commodity prices, from all of that. And I have to show that. I have to show how thankful I am to you guys and to my followers on Instagram, whether they're Beachbody members or not. Another thing I do is I am over genuine, over personal, and a little bit creepy. So when I'm sending a message, like the 5 messages a day deal, it would take me 25 minutes to do that, because I wanted to go through their page. I wanted to make sure I knew who I was talking to. I wanted to make sure that first I didn't double tap on a picture from 5 years ago, but I wanted to make sure that I knew what was going on and I knew that they would benefit from this. I wasn't just sending it to some random person just to send a message and to write a name down. Because frankly, that's wasting my time and my data and their time, right? So it's being creepy and over genuine. So when I do send that message, it's, hey, Caitlin, thanks for watching my stories. Or, hey, Lauren, I know you were interested. And hey, Jamie, how's your dog doing? Things like that. So when I go through and I kind of become creepy, people realize that I'm not copying and pasting a robot formulated message from Team Beachbody headquarters in Los Angeles, California, right? I mean, we've all seen those. We've all seen those messages on Facebook, the Facebook posts where it's got 100 different emojis in there and all about how this big sale. And then you scroll a little bit more and somebody else has the same thing. And somebody else has the same thing. Being over genuine sets me apart from being that salesperson who's just in it for one thing, and that's money. Because that's not what we're in it for. Being authentic. And for goodness sakes, stop saying, hey girl. I did it. I did it for so long. Then someone called me out on it and I was like, if someone messaged me and said, hey girl, check out this new saran wrap you can put on your stomach and it'll shrink you to a size 4 in 2 days. I would be like, wow, you do not know what I do, right? Don't send a message that you wouldn't want to receive. So, I'm just moving my notes down. One thing that really changed the game for me, because I feel like I'm on this train and I'm catching up momentum and I'm trying to hit diamond, I'm grinding, is being actually personal. I look back at what I posted about 4 months ago, and yeah, it was cool and it was catchy, but that wasn't me. That wasn't Chelsea actually saying it. There was no emotion, there was no personalization to that message. There was no depth behind it. So being over personal, being over genuine to myself and to sharing that with everybody has just put me in the position and made me feel like I'm not being that salesman that's wearing that salesman hat that I have to wear every day. So, all right, last section. This is about 8:40. The relationship between my full-time career and coaching feeds off of each other. So when I started becoming more confident in my posts and more confident in my stories and sharing more, I became more confident in getting out of the truck. I became more confident in making that phone call, because if I could send 70 invites in the last month, I can make one phone call about fertilizer to that 2,000 acre farmer down the road. If I can finish an 80-day program, if I can finish an 80-day program and post about it and share those sports bra and shorts transformation pictures, I can make a cold call to a grower's place. And even just the terminology, follow-ups. In my full-time job, that's a warm call. Which would you rather hear, a follow-up or a warm call or a cold call? So to kind of sum it all up, in that Beachbody and my full-time career have just made each one thrive. I've become more confident even in the projects. With Morning Meltdown 100 and with Morning Meltdown 100 and committing to a 100-day program, I decided I'm going to do 100 yield checks. A yield check involves me walking out in corn that's taller than my head, full of pollen, with sharp leaves, grabbing 3 ears, counting the stand in a 17.5-foot length, and walking back out and counting for probably 15 minutes. But I said to myself, if I can commit and if I can set myself apart by doing a 100-day program or an 80-day program, I can set myself apart in my full-time job and walk up to that grower. And when they ask me, so what do you think yields are going to be? I can say, well, I've done 100 yield checks. Here's a binder of all the pictures I've taken. That sets me apart from everybody else. And if you guys don't take away anything but that, I will be a happy camper. If you walk away from this and you're like, God, that girl can talk, and she gets really excited about things, but what really resonated with me was setting myself apart from the other 400,000 coaches, setting myself apart from the other 15 salesmen that pull in this yard. How am I different? What do I do for my challengers and my team that sets, and my coaches and everybody, that sets me apart from every other Instagram post and every other person that posts a story of a workout and says, join me. Not just the Beachbodies, but the First Form and the Ladies Edge and all them.
Damn, that was good. I was like, let's go. Like, that for sure sets you apart. I got goosebumps on that. Like, I want to show you guys something. Well, first, 3 things. I have a lot of notes. What I heard you say is our job starts after someone purchases something from us. And I think that that is something that we all need to understand, is that when you go to Target, their job is done when you walk out. Like, you walk in, it's like, how did the dollar section turn into $175, right? Their job's done. You did what you needed, they wanted you to do, right? With us, it's not until they purchase that something actually magical happens. But that takes a lot of following up. That takes a lot of trusting this process. And that takes a lot of you showing up before anyone does a freaking thing. That's the same in building your business. I don't know why we think that, like, challenge groups, all that stuff, it's not any different than building a diamond business, a 2-star business, a 5-star business. Like, it takes relentless work of showing up. And that's so key, Chelsea, where it's like, be the leader, be the coach you wish you had, or that you want your team to have, right? Like, if you want, do you know how many calls I used to lead of Happy and Fit and 3 people would get on? Sometimes 0. I would just do a power hour instead. More than I can tell you, but I just kept going and I kept having these calls. It was me for a really long time. If you go look back, some of you have actually, because you've messaged me, you're asking how Happy and Fit was before. And Steph went, not Steph Muller, a different Steph Owens, went all the way back to the beginning of Happy and Fit, which it actually didn't start as Happy and Fit. And there were 3 people on the leaderboard, me, Lauren, Lindsay. That was it. And then we just kept showing up. We just kept showing up. We just kept showing up. And now you look at all these boards that are happening. That just doesn't magically happen. But I got on Zooms. We got on Sarah Morrison's Zoom. Lauren and I went to Summit. Do you remember, Lauren? We're like, wouldn't it be just rad to have a team here? Now we have like team pictures and stuff. Did you guys hear Wyatt fart? It was so loud. Anyway, that's a side note. Another thing I heard you say is that coaching made you better at your job, but I want to take this a little step further because not everybody's in sales here. I personally believe I became a better teacher because of this lifestyle, but let's take it even a step further. I believe that I became a better wife, now a better mom. I believe that I'm a better friend. I'm a better lover of myself because of this journey, right? That coaching helps us get better at life. This business, this team, this self-care helps us function better. It helps us deal with anxiety better. It helps us deal with depression better. It helps us deal with hardship better. It helps us deal with challenges better. It helps us deal with insecurity better. It helps us deal with comparison better. Chelsea talked about how she struggled with comparison. Let me tell you this, I didn't want to get my workout done today, right? But because of this journey, I had the mental toughness to do it anyway. Let me take you in a little snippet into my life as I'm looking here. This was frozen. White just farted again. 4 years ago. And this is a picture of me in my classroom, and Eric's here. And we just worked out every day after school in the classroom. Do you remember we would pull the desks apart? Mm-hmm. We'd sweep because those kids are nasty during the day. I don't even know like how all that stuff gets on the floor. I'm not trying to do burpees with all this junk on the floor, right? We'd sweep, we'd work out. This was the DVD times. This might have been a shift to bod. We'd put it in. I'd invite our kids to do it with us if they wanted to stay after school, right? And then we'd put the desks back and then we'd go home. But this is something I need you to understand. How many teachers are on our team that aren't on this call right now? Because it's the first day of school. Look at this, September 3rd, 2015. Who showed the F up? How many teachers aren't getting their workout done today because it's the first day back to school? I'm not trying to put in blast if some of you are watching the recording, like whatever, but I need you to show, like people are like, I can't work my business right now because life's a little crazy. Look at me. I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it as this helps my life. And I know this can help someone else's life. Instead of thinking of all the reasons why I shouldn't do it, I kept going with the reasons why I should do it. Look, I show it, and there are hundreds of these types of pictures. I showed up where I could, when I could, right? And I made it work. And if you look here, we did a size routine. I taught my 8th graders size. That's right when size came out. And we had a competition versus boys versus girls. So not only did I show up in my own journey, I also showed it in our classroom. We would take stretching breaks. I would teach them about eating healthy. I would meal prep. I would do all this stuff. I would show them because my kids were coming to school with flaming hots for breakfast. And then they would see me with my shake, right? I just wanted to show and share with them what I was doing, and I was modeling it for me. But I need you to see where I was 4 years ago, and where I was 4 years ago. I was 1 year into the business. I don't even think I was diamond quite yet. I might have just hit diamond right then and there in that picture. I just had massive vision and I showed up every day. Another thing I heard Chelsea say is, what sets you apart? That's how I set myself apart from all the other coaches who are Beachbody coaches. Because what do you see teachers posting about? Overwhelm, exhaustion, counting down to the weekend, vacations, how tough it is, blah, 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 blah. I didn't show up like that in my social media. I showed up rejuvenated, energized, getting results, getting a transformation. I showed up with joy with my students. And was I like that a year before that as a new coach? No, but I was hoping for transformation because I was feeling so exhausted as a teacher. And I needed a change. And Beachbody, because I allowed it and showed up, it did change me. All the people who put their stuff on pause, who say they can't afford it, I always say go help 3 people. All the people who get off track, do all the stuff, it's always time to course correct. Let me just throw that down there right now. It's always time to course correct. You can course correct at any time. But here's the deal. I didn't look at that as an obligation, an expense, a credit card charge. Shakeology has never been too expensive for me because of the way that it was making me feel, because I actually drank it every single day. I didn't let it pile up. I had it every single day. How do you think a multivitamin works? Every 3 days? When you actually know the value of it, it's a multivitamin. It's something you should have every single day because of what it does to your body. You'll only get the benefits of it if you do it more often than not, right? With the workouts, you can't, people say like they're really, really proud of themselves getting 3 workouts in a week. I get it. There's different life circumstances. I'm kind of being really harsh right now. It is what it is. I'm just being blunt, right? But like a lot of people are really proud of getting to the gym 3 days a week. That's not even in my mindset. I was like, man, I work out 6 to 7 days a week. It's not always intensity. It's not always crazy, but I move my body on the regular. I would have been pretty damn proud getting in 3 days a week at the gym. But now to me, that seems so not a lot. Like we can do 20 minutes a day, every day, right? And then for all the people who are telling me, take it easy, take it. And I'm like, do you know who my virtual mentor is? David effing Goggins, who ran ultra marathons with broken feet, punctured lung, pneumonia. I've got this. I can walk around the block postpartum. I can walk to I can do that. I can stretch a little bit because the people I surround myself with, even if they are at a little discomfort, even if they are in a little bit of pain, I level up. Right? And so I just feel like that's just kind of a thing of like this business of like, ooh, you're balancing a lot. Yeah, because I love it. Right? So Chelsea, like you gave me freaking goosebumps on how you set yourself apart. I was like, that was the best illustration. I didn't know what the heck you were talking about. I didn't even know that term, what that was. I was like, oh, heel kicks? Like you're going to do like the little like Irish kick thing? You're going to do 100? Okay, like that's really cool. Oh, got it. I see what you're saying. This all made sense to me now. That was so good. I would totally buy from you. That's amazing. And being authentic, being you, being personal. I really, really loved when you said, is money the only thing holding you back from living your best life or getting more fit or losing those 10 pounds that you said you wanted to lose or having more energy as a new mom, whatever it is, whatever they told you, right, of what they need. Oh, is that the only thing holding you back from that? Challenging them. Because do you want to know something? Most people in our lives don't challenge us because they're complacent and comfortable and play it safe. The people that actually get us to be better are the ones who challenge us because they care. And so no wonder you're working on overcoming objections. I heard another thing. I'll recap right now. I'll ask a question. You kept referencing, I've listened to objection videos, and I heard you reference Rock the Business multiple times. That tells me that you looked at what you had in this and you said, my team has access to a training they're saying is like getting a college degree in for free. Maybe I should take that. Hey, there's this Rock the Business that, I don't know, people who have businesses that I want to have a business like created this content for me and I have access to it for free. I'm going to treat it like I paid $1,000 for it. Because legitimately everything I'm hearing you say is what you've learned and you've implemented it. And I think what I'm most excited for is your transformation of light, beauty, confidence. It's like radiating of your energy and what this has done for you. And I can only hope to think that that's impacted so many areas of your life. And I'm getting goosebumps just saying that, because if Trina Gray wouldn't have said yes, if Sarah Morrison wouldn't have said yes, and if my original sponsor would not have said yes, if I would not have said yes, if Lisa would not have said yes, that's who Lauren signed up with originally. If Lauren wouldn't have said yes, right? If Lindsay wouldn't have said yes, if Danielle wouldn't have said yes, if Lacey wouldn't have said yes, I know the line. I know where it goes. Then you wouldn't be on this call right now. And who knows? Eric said a few months ago, Jen, what would our life be like if we wouldn't have said yes to this? I don't know. I think I probably would have been talking about how exhausted I was as a teacher, and only thinking to my life and thinking, what else is there? Is this it? It's not. This opportunity has showed me that it's not, that there's so much more potential, so much more life within us, and we get to level up, dream big, and yet we can get so frustrated and insecure behind a computer screen of someone who potentially might say no. Because we're not taking the time to actually get to know them, or taking the time to learn how to get better with objections, or taking the time to actually get objections. Because if there's anything I've ever learned in this journey, these 5 years, the most successful coaches with the businesses that you crave to have gotten more no's and objections than any of us. They've had more challenges, more struggles, and they've earned it. Didn't Rachel Hollis say that? I wasn't even there, but didn't she say that? The people who are at the front, right, where you're like, that's so amazing. Didn't she say they actually have it harder than the person who's all the way in the back? Because they have to maintain and level up and learn how to do that in different ways. I've had to explore on what's my new elite. What's my new elite? Because I've hit it 3 times. I'm good. I don't want to be good. I want to be great. What is that to me right now? Got to be something, because you can't get complacent. Dang, girl. Chelsea, that was so good. It's such a treat to have you on. What questions do we have for Chelsea? We have 5 minutes. 5 minutes to ask her any questions. I'm excited that you want to go diamond. For you and Lacey, that's incredible. That's exciting. The goal is always to get to 2-star crew, like get there, but you have got to invite first, right? You can't just get to 2-star. You can't just get to diamond or 1-star. You've got to actually invite. If I were to say, who are the last 20 people you invited to the business? If you cannot answer that, that's a gut check I need to ask myself, right? Can you show me a list of people you've invited to the business? And if you can't, that's a gut check that it's going to take you a whole heck of a lot of gut checks to get there. A lot of bumps. If you can answer that to me, like Kim Meyer just flashed that, then you're well on your way to actually getting there. Okay, how do you show up on social media? That's good, Turner. Turner, you're always a learner. How do you show up on social media, and what does your business activity look like with your schedule?
So right now, my kind of niche is I'm working on kind of narrowing down my niche. So I am part of the farm girl, farm wife, kind of balancing farm life and beach body, but also to narrow my niche down a lot. I show up with just talking a lot about my past and college. So college was not the best time for me. High school was not the best time for me. I was the only farm kid in a school that was northwest of, it was like 70 miles northwest of Chicago. So it was really the last farm left out there. And I talk about my struggles through that. And then I went to Iowa State and I found this brand new life and all these great people. And then I mentally went down the toilet. So I talk about how I had to gut check after I graduated and say, you know what, this is not healthy. I have mood swings like a roller coaster, and I share that with everybody. And that's one of the biggest things that I share in my personal life and my personal story is just going through that and going through kind of reinventing myself and reigniting myself through Beachbody, and knowing that I have this team behind me to stand on. So I'm currently working on kind of narrowing down that and then sharing more about ag, more about what I do specifically. Lacey has the cattle thing pretty well locked in. I mean, that girl, yes. So I'm working on maybe bringing up more about kind of the commodities and how weather impacts our lifestyle and our livelihood. And then how I use Beachbody and my exercise and my team as an escape from the daily stresses, an escape from all of the heaviness weighing down on me. So, glamping. I just want one of those like silver, what are the little silver campers that you pull behind?
Oh, I thought you were going to say I unmuted.
Oh, the Airstream.
Airstream.
Yeah.
We know all about it. It's so bougie. It is so bougie, and we're all about the Airstream.
It doesn't look fancy on the outside, and then you walk inside and you're like, what is going on?
It is so nice. It is so nice.
Definition of glamping. Well, if anybody has any other questions, I really cannot get over how exciting this was, and thank you guys enough for just being that support behind me and being just Team Happy and Fit. And I'm so excited, and I definitely am going to do a gut check of who have I invited to the business in the last 50 invites I sent. Who did I invite to the business?
Yeah, and I think too, like another thing.
Thank you guys all.
You're amazing. You're so amazing. I think just a big thing, you guys, is that I talk about the business every single day. It's like I get so excited about how can I close a gap for someone to see what this is about, because I just don't get why people wouldn't want to do this. And the reason that they're not doing it is because they don't know. And that's always what I'm thinking in my head is how can I like make this big mystery, because they're just seeing inspiration, they're just seeing workouts, they're seeing tags, they're seeing all these things, but like how can I get them to know it? How can I and it's just constant sharing, it's constant talking about it. It's gonna hit certain things, right? Different chords with people at different times. Challenge after this, we're getting so good at tagging each other in workouts. By the way, I'm not kidding, I was like, I have to get my workout done because my whole team is just freaking blowing up my social media. Fine, I'll do it. I'm not kidding. And it's been so great. Wouldn't it be so amazing to do that with business calls, with the team, with coaching, with things like that? Like that's how it's going to set us apart as well. Because there was a whole like dance party, Energize, which is awesome. But no one was really doing the workout aspect of it, right? And then it's like that's on lock. How about we do that with business too? So screenshotting this, maybe writing like what you love about the team, what was a misconception, why do you love it? Like just write something about it, like how it's improved your life, how you used to be scared to post on social media, you were comparing, but now you're around empowerment. Like there's so many different aspects to coaching. I always think of it like a web. It's like a web, and there's just so many different things to it. Just talk about all the different things. I think it helps you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? Socially. I think that's the web. And then you just pick a part of like, get even more specific, right? Where it's like, if it helps me socially, it even helps my daughter. If it helps me be a better friend, let me talk about how and why that is. A lot of people I was hanging out with before this just drank a lot, right? And now where I spend most of my time is masterminding, thinking about visions, like paying off debt, getting excited when people are hitting goals in life, right? So just talking about those different aspects. I'm going to hit end record